Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the weekly share of the Zer Shimshon. And I'm going to pick a little harder piece today, but it's short. I looked through the whole Parsha Bo, and there's every divrei Torah he's got, the Zer Shimshon, is about 2 or 3 pages long. So it's too much for me to be a half-hour share. So I have Rahmanas on you. The other thing is, of course, it's Dalid. It's Dalid Shvat. It's Hashem, you're holding by Tu B'Shvat Od Ma'at, as they say, a little bit more. And I just wanted to celebrate the art site of the Baba Sali, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh L'Racha, and Avram Kalisker, and he was a big Hasidic Rebbe. He was buried actually in Tveria. He moved to the Tveria with the first group of Hasidim, and I just wanted to celebrate those yard sites with everybody, and there should be a zchus for everybody in Klal Yisrael. They should bring Yeshuas and Nechamais and Parnasa Berevach. Okay, here's a little piece. This is in Parshas Bo, and it's Yud Zayin, the capital Yud Zayin here. And the Gemara Psachim says in Daf Nun Gimel, those who want to look it up, Tudus, Ish Roimi. There was a person, he was absolutely a Talmid Chacham, and his name was Tudus, and he was a man from Rome, believe it or not. Hinig es b'nei roimi lechel gidoyim mikulasim b'leilei Pesach. So he conducted his congregation in Rome to have gidoyim. There was, you could bring a sheep or a goat that was under a year old. They were mikulasim. Now, mikulasim means they had their innards removed, and it was placed on the outside, just like the regular Korban Pesach, right? And Leil Pesach. So the Chachamim heard, Sholchu, they sent to him a message, obviously like a warning. It says, Ilmali Tudus Ato, if you were not Mr. Tutus, Rabbi Tutus, and he said, Gozerani alecha nidui. We would put you in excommunication. Wow, what did he do wrong? Sha'ata korev le'ha'achil es Yisrael kadoshim b'chutz. Because the Isser over here is that it looks like you're bringing korbanos outside the Beis Hamikdash, which was not permitted. Okay. So what was the importance of Tudus? Arba Yom Rabbi Yosi bar Abin Omar Matil Meloy Lakis Shel Talmidei Chachamim Haba. So he was the person that supported the Talmidei Chachamim. He must have been a rich person, and he gave them business to do, or supported them with their businesses. He was a money giver. He was a good spal tzedakah. So, makshim ha'olam ki chas v'sholom hechanefu loy rabbanim l'fi shayu matal b'loy l'kisam. So one of the big madregas of somebody that's about chesed is that he helps people out in business with support and donations. So it's a big thing to support Talmidei Chacham, because normally they don't have a good business. Their only business is learning Torah. So if you can give them something on the side, that's a big tzedakah for them. So anyway, so why were he trying to make him feel like he's flattered and what has one thing got to do with the other? Yesh the Farish, there would be Perek Vav Mehilchas Talmud Torah. That's just talking about in the Rambam. Halacha Yadalit. Mana HaRambam Esrim ve'arba Devorim Shemenadim Es Adam. So there's 24 cases where you put a person in excommunication. So I'm not going to go and enumerate all of them. Ubechlalam, but including in them is a mezalzel bedavar echad midivrei seifrim. Somebody who is treating light one of the halachas of the Rabbanim, divrei seifrim. There's 7 mitzvahs the Rabbanim, right? V'hiksha sham hakesav mishnah v'shem haran. And over there, the Kesef Mishnah is one of the commentaries. That's Beis Yosef on. He questioned in the name of the Ran was a Rishon. The b'mixas duchte amrinan the manda over the Rabbanan lucky. Some places they give, if somebody's over on a Rabbanan halacha, then they give him patch, which is Marcus Mardus, they call it. Mashma aval shamuti loy mishamtin, but putting him in excommunication, they don't. V'tiretzu zachayne rachot. So the Kesef Mishnah gives this explanation. The mefakpek oim hazalzo b'davar echad midivrei seifrim chamir tvei mi'ayver al divrei davar midivreim. That something who treats lightly or treats treats lightly or mizalzel with the words of the Chachamim is worse than somebody who actually transgresses on their words. Lefikach, somebody makes fun of the words of the Chachamim. How do they know that? Something bezilzel. It treats it lightly. Lefikach, af al pi sheha'ayver eino chayev. Even though somebody who transgresses of the Rabbanan is only obligated chayav makas mardus, which is getting patched, but somebody who's in doubt, it treats it lightly, is actually chayav nidui. Okay, and nivrei the Rabbanan. Now miato yuvan hai uvda. I've always heard this, it's only the Rabbanan. Well, the truth of the matter is that's very serious. So there's a few very serious Gemaras about this. That somebody who's over at the Rabbanan treats rabbinic law lightly, or gezeras there lightly, then he could actually end up dead or get a very serious. It's very serious to be put in excommunication. It means you can't come to shul, you can't participate in anything with a minyan. Anyway, so let's understand now what happened to Tudus. And we'll understand the explanation that they said to him that we'll make a gezerah on you. It should be nidui. Excommunication. They should have said, we'll put you in the excommunication. We'll put you. Not we're going to make a gezerah. When he said we're going to make a gezerah on you, it sounds like a new gezerah, not like something that was already around. That somebody who is doing this, bringing these korbanos outside the Yerushalayim, so it's going to get a new gezerah on him. That'll be nidui. V'hainu mishum de lefi ha'emes tudus lo hayo nikro mizalzo al divrei chacham. Because the truth of the matter is, Tudus was not being cheap with the words of the Chachamim. He wasn't doing anything wrong that they made, they imposed upon him. He didn't do it to make fun of the Chachamim. So he was transgressing the words of the Chachamim that they prohibited to eat from this korban that they made on Leil Pesach. Therefore, he wasn't absolutely excommunicated. He wasn't obligated to be excommunicated. So this, since they were conducting the populace, the general populace, to do this, so that they wouldn't come to bring a korban outside of Beis Hamikdash. It's like there was somebody who was making fun of the words of the Chachamim. So the dilzul, the cheapening of the words of the Chachamim comes by itself if they go over the words of the Chachamim. It's a very subtle little in nuance, right? I mean, they weren't actually doing anything wrong, but it could come to something wrong. That's why the Chachamim make these gezeras. So since he was supporting the Talmidei Chachamim on a regular basis, so we knew that he wasn't trying to cheapen their words or treat them like second-class citizens. He was honoring them. So therefore, the honor he gave them by supporting them in their businesses. So you see that he loved the Chachamim. So you see that the Chachamim were important in his eyes. So he says, if you wouldn't be to this and giving us all this money to support us, we'd make a gezerah, a new gezerah that you would put in an excommunication. Even though their intention is not to cheapen our words and put us down, however, nira kimay zilzul, it looks a little bit shmeks like zilzul. Everybody knows that the Talmidei Chachamim are important in your eyes. You're not being mezalzel in their words. You're not cheapening in their words. Mishum are taking light, right? That's why we didn't make this gezerah on you that you should be put in excommunication. But from here we learn nobody else should do this. If somebody else does it, he's going to be put in nidui. And that's also from the 24 things that somebody cheapens the words of the Chachamim or he doesn't treat them properly with the proper respect, so he gets put in nidui. That's part of the 24 things that the Rambam enumerates. Okay, everybody have a wonderful Shabbos, Parshas Bo. You remember how many plagues happened in Parshas Bo? It's very easy to remember. Bo is Beis and Aleph. How much is that in Gematria? 3. So there's 3 makas in Parshas Bo. Okay, anyway, go have a wonderful Shabbos. Kol Tov Zagemesh.